We will now address the issue of rounding off and significant figures. First, we need to remind ourselves that we round off numbers after we have done some measurements or some calculations to indicate how precisely and how accurately we think we know that property. Depending on the calculator you use, a calculation can yield a result with up to 12 or so figures. Clearly, we should rarely expect to know any property that precisely. So, when do we actually round off a number? The answer is actually straightforward. We only round off just as we report the result. All calculations, even those involving intermediate results, should be carried out with more figures than are significant. Now, how many significant figures should we use when rounding off to report the result of a calculation? So, let us review the rules associated with significant figures. First, all non-zero digits are significant. So, 135.6 has 4 significant figures. Second, trailing zeros without a decimal point are not significant. So, the number 2000 has only 1 significant figure. Third, trailing zeros after a decimal point are significant. So, the number 2000 has 4 significant figures. Fourth, leading zeros are never significant. So, the number 0.003 has only 1 significant figure. Finally, captive zeros are always significant. So, the number 302 or the number 300 period have 3 significant figures. Let's now review the rules for determining the number of significant figures in the results of additions and subtractions. For additions and subtractions, you need to think decimal place. Indeed, the decimal place for the result of an addition or a subtraction is the same as for the least precise number. Let us look at the following example. Using your calculator, when you add 4.46 to 312.1, you obtain 316.56. 312.1 has 4 significant figures, but is the least precise number since it is only known to the first decimal place, while 4.46 has 3 significant figures, but is more precise since it is given to the second decimal place. Hence, the result of this addition must be reported to the first decimal place and written as 316.6. We now turn our attention to the rules for determining the number of significant figures in the result of multiplications and divisions. For multiplications and divisions, we will need to think about the number of significant figures in the quantities involved in these operations. The number of significant figures in the result of a multiplication or a division is equal to the number of significant figures of the quantity with the least number of significant figures. Again, let us practice this rule with an example. Using your calculator, when you multiply 15.4 by 2, you obtain 30.8. The number 2 has 1 significant figure, while the number 15.4 has 3. Hence, your result should be reported as 30 with only 1 significant figure.